Lexi, and I am here with my creative project, Lexi's World, on creative spaces and studios in Philly and their greater impact on the community. So here I have Inka Badmus, Ejiro Ogagan, and Nate Ogunbiyi. I said that right? Okay, perfect. So, as you know, they are the leaders and co-owners of the Yen Studio Productions, and they own a magazine, print magazine. You have a design design studio workshops, and you also curate events such as your Yen Olympics and other stuff like networking events for creatives. So I know you also, I all believe, graduated from Temple as well, right? Or Drexel? Okay, so Drexel, awesome. So Drexel natives as well as myself. And I know you also started Yen Studios around 2022, which is, as of recently, probably like 2 years now. And how did you come up with this concept of Yen Studios? Let's just start there.
Okay, I'll go. So pretty much just hanging out. They were actually roommates. It was these two and two other friends of ours. And we would just watch YouTube videos, like music videos, cooking videos, like a lot of architectural digests, and we would just go back and forth and say, what do you think about this? Like, what would you change about that? And, you know, we started to kind of like touch on all of our design languages and pretty much just like get in touch with each other's tastes, pretty much. And we said, you know, we're kind of onto something. And we said, all right, let's work on a project. We didn't know at the time what it exactly was going to be, but we said, all right, let's just, you know, kind of mesh everything together in a magazine, you know, document what we do, and like just show it off.
That's great. So I know you touch a little bit on your like individual stories in your magazine, but can you tell me about your journey, like discovering your craft? How did you get into the world of design and kind of what it means to you? Individually, this could be a personal story, but just, you know, touch on that a little bit. How did you get into the craft, the industry of being a creative?
I think for me, growing up, like as a kid, I liked fine arts, like the lowest stuff like drawing, painting, creativity, just doing stuff like this. It was creative, I guess, and that kind of like never left me. And with pursuing something more technical in college, like I studied computer science, so just always wanted to do something with like design, and I guess that just like came to the forefront, you know, like to talk.
Okay, wow. So like a STEM background, but you're into creative stuff.
Yeah, but I like to think of it as the creativity is my background, and I just got into like, you know, STEM.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of similar in the sense of like the training in the STEM field, but you know, creativity and design is my background. I really love to draw. I play the trumpet, so like anything that's like, you know, artistic, like I was into it. But I kind of thought that like STEM, that's like a stable thing to, you know, get into because we need to eat, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of just, you know, STEM was kind of like pushing me forward to like, you know, like get that stability, but then I kind of just was like, okay, design, eventually like if you're really about it, it needs to be at the forefront of everything. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm still, you know, using my STEM degree, but it was actually pretty helpful to bring it back into design because I majored in biology and it kind of taught me how to approach problems and how to think, you know, differently, you know. Yeah, that's very helpful.
I guess for me, I think that's something that we all have in common. Like as kids, we were always drawing. So like I didn't know the men's like kids, but that's something that we all have in common. So from that, I think drawing, playing with Legos. So I was like on that creative side as a kid. My parents saw that, and in high school I was taking like art classes. And then I think at the end of high school I'm like, yo, I gotta decide what I'm doing with my life. So I'm like, all right, I love art. I'm cool. I'm decent at math. So I was like, all right, architecture is like the balance. I know I couldn't just go straight to art because my Nigerian parents wouldn't like be cool with it. So I was like I said, it's a decent balance. So just great. And then just picked up photography, taking pictures at like family gatherings, church. And then I think in 2020, right before everything shut down, I got a camera and just like took that wherever I went.
That's amazing. So honestly, before I get into my next question, I just want to touch in a little bit on that because this is a topic that I actually find to be quite interesting where you know, we have either like Caribbean or African background and, you know, it's very forced upon us to kind of go into a certain field or direction of career. So how do you think you kind of discovered yourselves within the creatives and being able to enjoy what you like and just pursue it as more of a passion and career instead of something that's just like a hobby, even with all the, you know, restrictions that you may get from your family?
That's a good question. Yeah. I think for me, the main thing was just, I think even like throughout my computer science degree, like what I found interesting about that was just how creative you get to be with like problem solving, like looking into theory of certain things. So it was still like it was something that came out all the time, and I felt why would I not like explore it more? And yeah, I don't want to look back and be like, maybe I should have done that. I think it was just important for me to try it.
Wow. That is, I honestly think a lot of people can reside with that. I mean, I have a friend, his parents are from Ghana, and honestly, like, you know, even getting into like politics and stuff like that is something that's like seen as like, oh, don't do that, kind of stay away from things like that. But he's even started his own like organization that he's now opened up at several other campuses, such as like NCAD and Rutgers and stuff like that. So, you know, being able to share that story, I think that's something that other people can definitely relate to. But I guess getting into the next question, I know that each of you also have like your individual projects that you're working on. So Vichiro, I know you have your modeling, your clothing brand, the brand that you launched in 2020. Yinka, you have your furniture design, your graphic prints, and then your lay dramaturge, styling shoots, and then Nate, you have your photography and film photo production. So how do you think your individual journeys led you to the path that you're on today? And then do you think if things had been different, that Yen Studios would have been a different concept?
Yeah, I don't know if Yen Studios would be a thing if we kind of stuck, you know, played it safe. Like, if, you know, we all stuck with our majors and said, okay, let's just go what we were given. But individually, I'd say that the way I got here was, I think, in high school, really, when it came to fashion, because I had a dress code, so like a dress shirt, tie, dress pants, belt, shoes, like whole 9 yards. And I kind of liked it at a point. I felt professional. I could switch it up like with a cardigan. But eventually I was like, I kind of want to, you know, design something myself. So then I, you know, started a clothing brand with my friends. And it wasn't called the brand, but I kind of just put it there in the magazine, just so like, you know, because if people know about it, they know about it.
I had to assume, I'm like, wait, is that your title? Is there something you're calling this? Because I was like, that's definitely something very like quirky and just like...
that wasn't actually it. It was just like, whoever knows what it was called, like laid back, like they know. I won't put it out, but you know, people will know if they know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. But then I dropped my brand now, which is called Israel Gaga. And I kind of wanted that to be more like cut and sew, like kind of just, you know, tell stories, because I felt like not many brands kind of like would dive into storytelling. It's kind of just like a lot of, okay, if this works, we can sell it. And I wasn't really about that. I kind of wanted to like, you know, make sure I'm putting out something meaningful or just like not putting it out of them.
Wow. I mean, what about you? Because I'm actually pretty interested in like your furniture concept. I don't think I've met too many people that do that. So, do you mind touching on that a little bit?
Sure. I think what's led me now to furniture is I think was also the move to like here to Yen Studios because just meeting Nate freshman year, like art and design was the first thing that connected. But just over time, like finding new things interesting, like learning new things. Nate picking up photography, finding new passions and interests, like us being able to collaborate on that. I think that was a big part of, okay, I want to learn more because like, I have a community around me that is also pushing me to do that. And furniture design was just something that I kind of stumbled upon. So at Drexel, I had a bunch of free electives. So I took a product design class, and the professor was a furniture designer. And the way he taught product design like was super interesting to me. And I just like kind of dived into the people that he would talk about and reference, and most of them furniture designers. And now it's something that I'm like, oh, that's great. That's like this kind of like art that everyone can have. Like everyone needs a couch, everyone needs like a table, in your apartment, in your house. It's something that I feel like of course there's I don't want to reference fast fashion, but kind of how there's like brands in the fashion industry that just make things like churn out things every year or every season, just so people can consume. It's like with furniture, you have things that are passed down from like your parents, like when you move out to college or something, they give you your own couch or something. So it's just like this, like furniture just holds so much story and so much like you close together. It makes like wherever you are, like home, even if it's not like the best things, but it just it's like very personal art that lasts like generations, and that was just also meaningful to me. And I just want to be able to just like explore that as well, just leave a tiny bit of my thoughts or interests.
Give yourself time.
Yeah.
Almost like an heirloom, like how you described furniture to be, which I think is really, really interesting. And I think that is something, like I said, that I don't know or recall a lot of people are doing anymore. I mean, I feel like people just think of like Ashley's Furniture, they just think of like Braymore and Flanagan's, and they're just like, okay, yeah, this is the furniture we have, we're just gonna leave it like that. So, especially like as people of color, it's very nice to have that. But also, I guess like now I can ask you, Nate, like more about like your film photos and your photography. Like, get into that a little bit. Like, what inspiration do you have when you're taking your shots? Because I know like having people who do photography in my life, they take it very like it's very personal to you. So, I mean, what do you hope to capture through your pictures, your story? Yeah, just get into that a little bit.
I guess I'd say our lifestyles, because like one thing that I've noticed, like switching from like digital to film, it's like you start to cherish like more of the shots. They become more valuable because you can't just like retake one and like alright, like that. Like with digital, you got unlimited. You just delete something and just keep shooting. But with film, it's like you got a certain number of shots. And I think one of the things that my brother had pointed out to me is like with every like picture, it's really not. Every picture is different. It's like really a single moment, and everybody experiences that moment differently. So I'm just trying to like capture not only my perspective, but the perspective of everybody around me, which is crazy. But I'm still trying to find a way to do it. But just trying to like illustrate that story, like our lifestyle, our history, our background, and just like I guess bring more people into like what history is.
That's a great analogy to use it as, because I mean people always say like a picture is 1,000 words, you know, and like by utilizing that, essentially in that 1,000 words, you are telling several stories, several perspectives, you know, POVs as they call it now, you know, so that's a very interesting analogy. But I guess like now I can kind of get into like explaining your roles a little bit on like how you impact your brand and like how you work as a team for your brand. So, I mean, what are your individual roles that you play in making Yen Studios, and kind of helping your brand like succeed in the end?
I think right now, at least like when we first started, it really still is very cool. We try to take reports, put in as much effort, but of course there's some things that so much I am something that I can do sometimes. So we try to do that to sort of work and like in the magazine, for example, all the shots taken by him was like that's so yeah, so something like that takes control. Something like the crossword puzzle. I'm like a very big puzzle guy, so like that's a cool guy.
Still unsolved. Nobody solved it. Nobody.
You have to be a genius to make that. I mean,
yeah, no one has solved it. We should actually put that out as a challenge. But yeah, so for the most part, it's very equal. But there are certain parts, certain things that could make the series better. Yeah.
Everything's pretty much like pushed together. It's like I guess it's like our baby touch out. So it's all of us like put together, and like we just try to like make it the best we can, and then we don't want to like push it too much in one direction because it's like a collective. But I guess you could definitely explain about like some things are better just taken by one person. Other things we need like to come together.
So I know on your website you also have like a post-Adonis manifesto. So I mean, can you explain why you kind of decided to like include this into your branding and into your magazine? And then like, what do you hope that people gain from like reading these chapters? I mean, I kind of read into it a little bit. I was like, oh wow, this is very like philosophical. Like I've never seen anyone kind of incorporate anything like any concept like that into like, especially like design and creative wise magazines. So like, definitely like I want to pick your brains on that. Like, what was the thought process of even including that in there?
Yeah, I'll say a little bit started. Well, partially the like soberness and like we all discussed started as like Adrian's like let's just do stuff on the street, like everything that we really wanted today, just like actually get to enjoy it. And one thing that I was really into, like just taking like art history classes and like different things, just like the different movements across like Dada.
It kind of sounds like these are like guidelines almost that you guys try to stick by. I mean, do you think that you do a great job at doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think perfect, but I think for the most part, we try, and that's the whole point of it. We don't want to be disingenuous. Then it's like, what's the point?
Awesome. So, I also want to kind of ask about how you continue to inspire yourselves to kind of add to your creativity when coming up with concepts. So, how do you get inspired? What do you do to kind of spark that creative light in your head and be like, oh, this is something we should do, especially when it comes to like putting something out there for other people?
I think we mostly bounce a lot of ideas off each other. So what's called, he might have an idea, he brings it to me and Adriel, and we kind of like translate what he's saying in our perspective. Then I guess we just continue to do that. Like if I have an idea, Adriel has an idea, we just bring it in front of each other and like see what I guess each person would see that as their vision. So I guess kind of like create projects out of it. We're just putting everything on there to let people record. And we love Pinterest.
Oh, Pinterest is a good one.
It's our go-to. And then we love to like storyboard, and then like we try to like fully develop everything before we start like I guess producing. So it's kind of like you see like I guess the most basic form and like stuff you gotta see in the end.
I think a lot of the inspiration is always very personal for us. It's just like what we like movies that we watch, and like what we listen to, what we learn on day to day. So like one thing that I've heard is like today, like everyone kind of has the same reference points, everything looks the same. It's, I guess for us to kind of try to be different. That's the best place to start because everyone like experiences things differently. So everyone has different. If we're all working really together, so it's like we're all like experiencing it from a different angle, like seeing different stuff. And I think like that's a focal point as well. And really go off it. Just,
Yeah, I'd say pretty much said it really well. I just had exposure, just getting out there, seeing new things, like because if you're in the same bubble, then it's hard to really get in touch with different different things, different cultures. And, that's anti-in studios. It's just sticking to one thing. Like you wanna travel, you wanna try different foods, you wanna go everywhere. I'm pretty sure we wanted to go everywhere and do everything. It's gonna take a while, but just exposure.
So now, I kind of want to also touch on since you are like a trio kind of thing, how do you kind of go about continuing to have that teamwork to where I know obviously you probably all have different thoughts, different mindsets, different perspectives as you've all touched on. So how do you kind of always kind of make sure you come to one and then move these concepts forward as one? Because I know that's the main thing that a lot of teams have, is they always have that time where, oh no, I want to do this, or no, I think we should do this first. How do you kind of level that out and be like, no, guys, let's just, you know what I mean?
I think I think it's just time. Like we meet fairly often. Like at a point, we were meeting every day. Like I don't know, a couple of hours a day. Yeah, yeah. But we just had to make sure that we had to communicate, because if we didn't communicate, the plans were just gonna get chaotic. And if we disagree on something, then that's just more time that we need to get to the end point. So the manifesto, that was something that we talked about for hours and hours and hours. Went back and forth on, oh, this is this. Well, I don't see it as that. So it's kind of getting our whole all three of our perspectives to make something that's okay, this is how we think people should strive to live like this. See things like this in this way. So kind of get in touch with how we all saw it.
I mean, a big part is also just having respect for each other. Like, I think when because the respect is there, we all want to hear like what everyone else has to say, and I think that's a big part of communication. Just listening as well, like, just communicating. Like, okay, this is how I feel, and also like being respectful enough to hear what the other person is saying. It might be tough sometimes, you know, like there's 3 different voices, but yeah, it's just like a matter of time and also like just talking out.
Hey, well, it seems like you're doing pretty well, I will say. So I also kind of want to talk about your collaborative projects because that's kind of something that I definitely think resides along with like, especially what I want to do, especially with this particular podcast project. So I know you have collaborative projects focused on giving back, and you kind of endorse like several brands such as like the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, Water Org, Tiny WPA, Sickle Cell Foundation Nigeria, the Safe Sister Circle, Refugee for Women, and My Brother's Keeper. So how do you go about choosing what brands you want to represent? And then how do you contribute to kind of helping support these organizations and, you know, the mission that they're kind of striving for?
I think I'll start from the first question, I guess. Going about like picking what was charities